Hi again, everyone. This is Faith in the Midst of a Trial, Part 2. The other video, cut out because my memory was low in my phone, so I figured I might create it just while I'm driving, and then it'll cut some time instead of sitting in front of my place making it and, not being with my family, but hopefully you'll be able to see me when light hits me, these lights. But I guess where I left off was while I didn't bother asking God about if I could do Lyft or DoorDash and all that, because that is my faith walk, I've gotten to the point to where, God has taught me that I must ask Him before I do certain things. And wow, it's really hard to see me, and I can't even put a light on or anything. Sorry about that. I guess what matters is really what's being said, but basically since I'm being consecrated to God and just doing what He wants me to do, there's always a growth in that, and God is just trying to get me out of the Adamic way of thinking. He's trying to get that out of me. Me wanting to, try to help my wife, but really, that's getting into other people's arenas. I mean, our faith walks are different, and I can't take control of someone else's faith walk. I just know what He can do in mine and what He has called me to personally. So, we as believers need to see God as our source and our provider. And so I know He just called me to Himself and trusting Him, and that's what He gave me. He gave me a word today stating that I'm to quit these jobs, and I got a word from my cousin that she gave me that I must quit from God. And it's all for the very purpose of how can I be a model to the church if I'm walking in the way the church and anyone else does. There has to be a pioneer out there that is willing to step out in faith, to rely, solely on God and not in themselves. So, with the title of this video, Faith in the Midst of a Deadline, I've given you an example of a car that, I was walking in faith for, and, God repairing it, and then an apartment I walked in faith for. That was in an earlier video. And so, with any bill or anything due, there's always a deadline, and with that deadline, if you don't have the means to pay it, you got pressure on you to pay it. So with me, in my current faith walk, I have this bill that's close to $100 that I'm trusting God for. And, God has always proved Himself faithful. And it's getting to that point when you walk in faith with God that you stop, and I mean getting to the place where you know God as your source, where you fully are trusting Him amidst the circumstance. I can't say that I'm 100% there, but God has me on the path. He's come through in the past, and everyone has a measure of faith. So I want to eventually be in that place where I'm walking in full faith no matter what is going on. And so with the 27th of May coming up, which is the deadline of this bill, there's repercussions. But I'm not going to think about the repercussions, because if you think about the repercussions, then the enemy will come in with fear and try to get you to do something in your own strength. And everyone deals with that. They start sweating, because that's what, faith is. It's in that place where in your mind you're not sure if God's going to come through. But if you've seen God come through in the past through Scripture and in your own life, then your fear starts going away, because you can see what He can do. So I'm going to create another video to let you know what happens. But like I said in the other video, I mean, there's a lot of people that have bills due, but it could be luxuries that, are taking up your time, and it could be time taken away from God, and that is really not God's will for you. He wants you to be in that place to where you solely rely on Him, and not in yourself, and not in your strength or your job to get by. Because what's going to happen one day when, if God touches your strength, if He takes away your job and all that, you're going to have no choice but to rely on Him. And there are so many people out there that are, a lot of Christians that are focused on becoming wealthy and things like that. But what's going to happen if the Antichrist makes his appearance, and your focus has been on wealth? Well, you can't buy or sell anything without the mark, so then your wealth is useless. So I am imploring you as a fellow brother now to invest in your relationship with God. Find out His will for your lives, and learn to hear His voice and do what He says. So I believe that the entire church needs to get to that place. And I stated in another video how a lot of believers tend to think that God has given them the choices to make their own choices. But that's not the model that Jesus walked out for us. He always did what the Father was doing. And I believe Jesus is a model for us, so we need to, model that for the world. So, in conclusion, how many minutes is this? Wow, 8 minutes. So it's been a total of 18 minutes, these two videos. So, if you have a deadline for a bill, ask God, and, depend solely on Him. Don't look to anyone else. Try not to trust in your strength and your ability to provide. I'm not saying that if you have a job that, you can't work to pay the bill, but I'm saying that if you lose your job or you're not getting enough hours or anything, you need to rely on God to come through for you. So I think I'll end it here, and I will let you know how it turns out. And I want you all to know that God is faithful. He can do anything. So thank you for watching. I know you can't see me. I'm in the dark now. I don't have light to show. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned.